Last week, we got a big update regarding, of course, the SEC and the CFTC chairman saying that they must act quickly to upgrade our rules and regulations to accommodate digital assets. We have designed Project Crypto to ensure that when Congress acts, the United States is ready to reinforce our global financial leadership. Now, what exactly are they, talking about with Project Crypto? Well, we know that Paul Atkins announced Project Crypto a few months back regarding supporting tokenization and crypto in the US. They essentially want innovation to thrive in the US. They want the US to be the crypto capital of the world. That's exactly what the Trump admin has been, pushing since going all the way back as far as like roughly the end of 2024. And today we still know that Project Crypto is a major focus of both the SEC and also even the CFTC. Now, if we go over here, we do have here that the CFTC and the SEC announced joint initiative with Project Crypto. I'll play this video clip real quick, and then we'll talk about exactly what this means.
Rather than running a parallel initiative with the SEC, the CFTC is partnering with the SEC on Project Crypto, bringing coordination, coherence, and a unified approach to the federal oversight of crypto asset markets. Project Crypto recognizes that crypto markets span across our agency's respective regulatory frameworks. Chairman Atkins and I view this moment as a generational opportunity for our agencies to collaborate on clear, durable rules of the road for these markets. Through this partnership, we'll advance a clear crypto asset taxonomy, clarify jurisdictional lines, remove duplicative compliance requirements, and reduce regulatory fragmentation, ensuring that innovation takes root on American soil, under American law, and in service of American investors, customers, and businesses.
And that's the focus of Project Crypto. Like I said, making sure that the U.S. remains the crypto capital of the world by supporting the initiatives in the U.S. And of course, up here, we do have that the joint initiative to harmonize crypto regulation and prepare for imminent bipartisan market structure legislation under President Trump's administration is the end goal of all of this, which we could see here from the 29th breakdown of the event. Again, this just goes to show you how important crypto really is. This is a very significant moment. We have here a deep respect for market integrity paired with a practical understanding of how innovation drives prosperity for the American people. He appreciates, as I do, that our job as regulators is to apply the minimum effect dose of regulation, no more, no less, and he recognizes that we are at an inflection point as President Trump assembles a dream team of financial regulators who are united by the common conviction that if we coordinate early, clearly, and in good faith, then we can reduce uncertainty, lower the cost of compliance, and unleash the creative energies of a free people. Now, when we think about this, yeah, there is a dream team essentially at, in this admin. Now, so far, for price action, it really hasn't been a dream team, more of a nightmare, but there's still a full pro-crypto approach here. Trump is pro-crypto. We know Scott Bessent is pro-crypto. The SEC is pro-crypto. The OCC is pro-crypto. We know back in December, they approved all of the bank charter licenses. On top of that, we also got a big update regarding the Fed just recently being a full pro-crypto agency. Now, that was under Jerome Powell. What about this new Fed? Is Trump about to make a big move? And of course, yes, that's the topic of this video, because if we're thinking about everything happening here, we're so close to, regulatory frameworks being put in place around crypto. Everyone has been talking about how important they are. I do believe that they are extremely important for the overall landscape of crypto to be more embedded into the financial system than ever before. We go back to some of these video clips. We go back to this event. Like, they are preparing to not only adapt legislation for crypto in a big way in the US, but fully support it, because at the end of the day, they want to make sure that we have this, full-on green light approach. Essentially, I mean, it's not a full green light approach, but it's basically an approach that supports innovation to make sure that it does thrive in the US, and also to make sure that, again, the US is a dominant force behind this technology. They see this basically as the next major moment to basically get behind Silicon Valley 2.0. Now, with that in mind, we go over here, because just recently as well, last week, on top of this event, we did get a big update from the Fed. Federal Reserve has officially paused interest rate cuts for the first time since July of 2025. Now, when we got this big update, everyone was questioning, like, what's going to happen next? Well, we already know that Jerome Powell is on his way out. Trump has been talking about Jerome Powell for quite some time, saying that he's too late. He's not cutting interest rates as much as we want. And of course, this was met with the idea of Trump posting memes of Jerome Powell back in September saying, "You're fired." And this also led to an investigation into Jerome Powell. We have here just in, Jerome Powell says DOJ is threatening the Fed with criminal charges for refusing to follow President Trump's interest rate demands. Because again, Trump has been saying we need to cut interest rates. We need to cut interest rates right now. So again, this is just, it's a crazy timeline, but this has been going on for months. It's been going on since going all the way back to roughly the summer of 2025. And this has led to even a new update regarding a breaking special report. Wouldn't really call it a breaking special report, but Trump basically said that Jerome Powell has been costing us hundreds of billions of dollars because he refuses to cut interest rates despite no inflation threat. Now, True Inflation did just put out an update regarding that inflation is now below 1%. President Trump was saying that Jerome Powell has been draining America with high interest rates despite collapsing inflation. As the Fed hides behind fake independence and delays cuts, Trump exposes the truth. Powell is bleeding the nation dry, destroying growth, and threatening U.S. security. The Fed is no longer federal. It's the last fortress of globalist control. Now, I don't really agree with this all that much. I mean, we've been seeing these types of posts for a while now with Trump talking about, Jerome Powell and things like that. The main thing that this is leading to is, Jerome Powell is on his way out. This is his last year, regardless of if he gets fired or not. And at the moment, we already have a new Fed chair nominee. At this point, you guys probably already know, but yes, Kevin Warsh is the right choice for the Fed. That's what Wall Street Journal's opinion is now saying. He knows where the central bank has gone wrong and how to fix it. Now, the interesting thing about this individual is the fact that, he is a very pro-crypto individual, which we'll talk about here in a second. We do have over here that President Trump says that he'll announce a new Federal Reserve chair next week. So this week, he is going to be announcing a new Fed chair. A few people are saying that it could be, Judy Shelton. It could be a few other people, but, we'll have to see what happens. I think that, Kevin Warsh will most likely be the one to get in, but check this out.
We're going to be announcing next week, I think sometime, Scott and Howard and everybody, we're going to be announcing the head of the Fed, who that will be. And it'll be a person that will, I think, do a good job. We're paying far too much interest in the Fed. The Fed rate's too high, unacceptably high. We should have the lowest, and I think you read my statement today. I put out a statement before the meeting, but we should have the lowest interest rate anywhere in the world, because a lot of these countries are successful only because of us, because we allow them to have surpluses. And without surpluses, some of the countries that you most respect financially, that you say, oh, this one, that one, this one, that one, they're successful because we allow them to have surpluses. And we could easily stop that with the powers that we have, but we don't. We took some of it, but we took really just a small portion of it compared to what we could take if we wanted to. We should have the lowest interest rate anywhere in the world. They should be 2 points and even 3 points lower. And if it was, each point is the equivalent of, I would say, $500 billion. So if you got 2 points low, you have $1 trillion in saving. And it's almost, if you call it just a paper expense. You can do it with a pencil. It's not cutting. It's not saying we have to get rid of jobs, or it's just like literally so easy to do. But we have a guy that doesn't want to do it because he's, I think he's politically biased. I really do. I believe he's politically biased because most smart people say it's not even a question.
Now, I mean, I do agree with the idea that we should have lower interest rates. I don't really understand why we're still sitting at, for most of, the things, around like 6%. So, yeah, I mean, I think that we should be around like roughly 4, even 5% at this point. So, Trump definitely wants to see an increase in rate cuts, an aggressive increase in rate cuts as well. And it seems as though Kevin Warsh could be that guy. Now, on top of this, I do think that this is another pro-crypto player that will be sitting at the table right next to Paul Atkins, Michael Selig, the OCC that's pro-crypto. The Fed will now be a fully, pro-crypto agency. And it all starts with Kevin Warsh. We go over here. This is a previous video clip from years back President Trump's Fed chair nominee, Kevin Warsh, if you're under 40, Bitcoin is your new gold. This is very bullish. Check it out.
Are you on board with Bitcoin? I know Stan Druckenmiller is now on board. I think when we've talked about Bitcoin in the past, I think you had a perhaps a lesser view. I don't know if you have a different view today.
So Stan calls me his partner. I call him my boss. One of us is lying, but I'll let you figure out who's who in that, Andrew. So I'd say I think that Bitcoin does make sense as part of a portfolio in this environment where you have the most fundamental shift, for example, in monetary policy since Paul Volcker. This is a big shift that we're seeing under the Powell Fed, rightly or wrongly. So I'm not surprised in a period of dollar weakness where Bitcoin's doing what it's doing. And I'd also suggest that part of the move in Bitcoin is taking some of the bid away from gold. I think if Bitcoin never existed, gold would be rallying even more right now. But I guess if you're under 40, Bitcoin is your new gold. So I think of Bitcoin as a lot of things, but it's certainly with every passing day getting new life as an alternative currency. And when you see the strength of the euro, the strength of the pound, the strength of the RMB, the Korean won, the Mexican peso, I guess we shouldn't be surprised to see the strength of Bitcoin as well.
Now, on top of this, we also have another video clip where he's talking about Bitcoin being the newest, coolest software that will allow us to do things that we could never have done before. Check this out.
You made reference to Bitcoin, and I thought I heard a little bit of condescension that people are buying Bitcoin and these things.
But doesn't it? Charlie Munger, this is 2 or 3 years before he died, Charlie Munger attacked Bitcoin. He called it evil, in part because it would begin to undermine the Fed's ability to manage the economy.
Or it could provide market discipline. Or it could tell the world that things need to be fixed.
Bitcoin does not make you nervous.
Bitcoin does not make me nervous. I can hearken back to a dinner I had here in 2011 with someone who is another guest on your show. I won't say his name. I just did Mark Andreessen, who showed me the white paper. That was the original white paper. I wish I had understood as clearly as he did how transformative Bitcoin and this new technology would be. Bitcoin doesn't trouble me. I think of it as an important asset that can help inform policymakers when they're doing things right and wrong. It is not a substitute to the dollar. I think it can often be a very good policeman for policy. And if I were to speak more broadly to what did Charlie Munger and others perhaps have in mind, there is a proliferation of securities that go under all sorts of names. Many, if not most of them, are not worth what they might be being traded for. So what did Charlie say, and maybe his pal Warren say? There's the innovators, the imitators, and the incompetents. They're real innovators that are happening in and around that new technology. And what I would try to impart towards businesses and bankers is that the underlying technology that Mark showed me in that white paper, or tried to show me in that white paper, it's just software. It's just the newest, coolest software that will provide us an ability to do things that we could never have done before. Can the software be used for good and evil? Yes, both, like all software. Right. So I don't cast aspersions like that. If there's a final point, it's these technologies are being built here. I don't just mean on Stanford campus. I believe in the United States. And the world's most talented engineers from China and Europe and everywhere, they come to the United States even now to try to build this stuff. And my view is by building it here, that gives us an opportunity to be more productive and create something very special over the next decade.
So yeah, I mean, listen, we already know that the Fed has the FedNow system built into it. We know that the Fed has been open to, tapping into blockchain technology for years. So now with Kevin Warsh, this could definitely be a big priority for the Fed. At the same exact time that we already know that the White House and this admin has been very pro-crypto, very pro-blockchain, and also stablecoins. So this could be that moment where we start to see innovation unleashed in the big way in the US if we get clarity done for crypto by the end of Q1 with a new Fed chair, with already a pro-crypto SEC, CFTC, OCC, and even an FDIC as well, because the FDIC has also been pretty pro crypto lately as well. So this could definitely be a big moment. I think that it will be a big moment as well. And this is definitely something that I think that we need to pay attention to this week. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video.